coming to the 10 to go. The group at the lead of this pack has narrowed itself down. Spun out, Matt Steven. He's made at the pit lane. We stayed green. But now the lead group down to 11. Henderson leads, trying to play both lanes. Parkhurst to the inside. Kristina, it's been wild so far just in these last 6 laps. 10 to go here in the Daytona 225. Who's going to make history? It's Shavin.
Well, it's not going to be those guys. Big scatter down the back. The 8 car hard into the wall. The 83 around and still trying to find some grip there. Spitting out. Caution will be out at 10 to go. We saw Steven get turned. We saw a couple cars already have their own issues. They were negotiating the lap traffic. The intensity was picking up. Carmen, we knew that it was going to be like this, but I didn't quite expect it to pop off with 10 to go. We're going to have to re-rack and try it again.
Yeah. Chaffin got pushed and put into the inside wall. It was Matthew Boone that also ended up with him on the inside.
It's heartbreaking for Parkhurst, too, because he had such a good car today. I don't know that they're going to be able to piece that one back together or not, but was running right there in the thick of it, right up front, was strong in the duel, was strong in the race tonight. Daytona strikes again.
As it did last week for the duel. So it does again tonight.
And it has been all day. I mean, look at how many drivers have dropped so far. We're adding surely a couple more to that after that wreck. Chaffin took a horrible hit. It granted into the tire wall, but a very hard impact. So, oh my gosh, we'll see there. Pit road should be open this time by. So fuel strategy out the window, tire strat out the window. Not that they really had any here anyway at the moment, but it's all going to be equal here. Even Stevens, it's going to be a sprint to the finish, as we see so many times here. Taking a look down the back straightaway, what happened here?
And it looks pretty simple. Chaffin got pushed to across the nose of Matthew Boone. It wasn't just Matthew Boone that got in trouble. You see E-Step got part of a different group there. But Chaffin, see the damage there. Parkhurst also wounded. I have to see who the other car was that got turned. Looks like, Parkhurst, Boone.
Well, you see that blue and yellow car was already out of line there a little bit, and whether it was like a Constantino effect where he got a push and then push the 8 and then something like that. This is Daytona with 10 to go. The gloves are off, the visors are down, and everybody is just, you could have the best drivers in the world, but they start to lose their brains a little bit because they're looking at a trophy at Daytona. It's the biggest race of the year. Yeah, you see right here, this is just misaligned. It's never going to work.
Yeah, it's Guy Clem, the 37. Just hooks him.
So unfortunate for those.
Surprisingly did not get Dean Clavitt, the 56 there. We saw him taken out in the duel last week.
Yeah, he did a great job there. Maybe he learned something sliding down the backstretch. No, you got to feel for those guys on the bottom because they did nothing wrong. They were just chilling. They were just trying to fight for that bottom track position, and then all of a sudden, it just happens that quickly. You got cars collapsing down on you like that, and it is just, it's just such a heart-sinking moment because you don't even know what hits you half the time. It's just suddenly there's cars into you, and in the case of Chaffin as well, he was just trying to chill on the top and got a bad bump, and suddenly he's flying across traffic and into the tire wall. So really, really unfortunate there. But, for these guys, for people like Matt Steven, who just got spun and the green flag stayed out, this bails him out a little bit. I'm not sure if he stayed on the lead lap or not, actually, but either way, he's back with the pack. So if we get another quick caution, he can get a lap back if he's a lap down. And it looks like pit road is open, and it's a fake again. I almost fell for that one. He looked pretty committed there. But
yeah, a little bit. It's going to be wild to see if Henderson can hold on to it here. Didn't have a chance to really contend for it at the duel last week. So it's looking very unlikely that we're going to see anyone once again sweep the races at Daytona this season. But with no defending champion, everything on the line for a lot of the field trying to put themselves in history books here.
Yeah, this is one of those deals too where you see the shadows growing, you see the sun setting in the back. The lights are already on the track. These guys are getting ready to go racing. The track is changing conditions. It's been a long night. You know, some of these cars like Corey Kobe, for example, looking like they've been at Bristol rather than Daytona. But to the people that are still in this group and have a shot, which is, you know, it's been a great effort from them, you know, no matter what. And to make it this far, you're looking at least a top 20, realistically a top 10 if you don't get involved in any kind of wreck. And that in its own could be its own victory, especially if you had came into this race and were struggling or were riding in the back or didn't feel very confident. But what that also does is it creates some confidence. You're thinking, there's only 9 guys out here that I'm racing. I think I could take 9 of them. And that's how we start getting these fairy tale stories and Cinderella stories. But that's also how we end up having 4 or 5 green, white checkers. So we'll see.
We'll kind of walk into it. We are approaching that level of the race where green, white checkers is a concern. There are 3 available in this race if we need it. Overtime.
We did have we had a natural one as well back at the shootout for reference, so or the duel. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah. We're gonna see what this race brings in the final handful of laps. We're on lap 86 now. We have a scheduled 90.
Lights are off, so it looks like we're going to be going green next time by. You see the lane choice there. And we'll try and see if we can finish this one under regulation, but it will be... I will be a little surprised. We still have a lot of cars that look like they're competitive. We got a lot of guys that were fast that just either lost a lot of ground or outright how to spin. So I would be looking to see some of them trying to get back up through the field. It's going to be exciting, I think, but... this is what I love. This is the best part about Daytona. The hairs on your skin are just standing up. The crowd on their feet, everybody. This is what the fans came and stayed for. And now we're going to get a grandstand finish that we seem to also so often have around this 2.5 oval.
Yeah, it's always a spectacle for those tuning in. Unfamiliar with who we are, Carmen Hardy alongside me, Kristina Ryan. This is the HTL Daytona 225, the season opener for Season 2 of the HTL Cup Series. Blake Henderson leads for Tombstone Motorsports. Matt Smith alongside him. Row 2 is Guy Clem and Matthew Boone. Dean Clavitt and Corey Andon, row 3. Angel Santiago and DJ Anderson in row number 4. A lot of cars still in this. We started with 30. 15 still on the lead lap. 19 still running.
Spread out.
Yeah.
I'm interested in how spread out they are. They're going to have to try and get a run here, I would imagine.
Well, part of this might be the plan. As they approach the Geico restart zone, pace cars in. Green flag back out.
Yeah, already some early lane changing here as well. So we'll see what happens. They come back down through the tri-oval, and right now it looks like the inside lane's going to have that advantage. Not uncommon that we see that, especially with the new restart zone rules. Take them through turn 1 here. We'll see if that outside line, it usually will get that run down the back straightaway once we get up to the 5th gear. So we'll see what they can do here out of 2.
Oh, Henderson!
My goodness. I thought he got loose. Maybe he did, but that was one heck of a block, and it sticks. So put him still on the point. And now coming back on the block, Clem.
He's got to make separated. That there's Matt Smith. The huge crash.
Yeah, that's a big hit, and the caution's going to come out again upside down and rolling over and over, side over side. The 54 comes to rest on his roof. Yeah, it's Daytona. I'm only seeing about 7 or 8 even coming around to take the flag right now, Carmen. I think that might have just wiped out the rest of what we had.
Yeah.
It all started with a huge block by Henderson, followed by another block. It got all the lanes shuffled up. They started to get a little unstable behind. Contact was made, and when you get turned sideways at 190 miles an hour, it is hard to hang on to it, and it was chaos from there. 5 laps to go. Everybody's trying to push for a chance to win, and whether the move was a good one or not, it was clean, it was fair, it was a well executed move, and I just don't know that the guys behind were ready for that, because it seemed like it caught everybody off guard with that big jump up there and then back down. So
A lot more cars are damaged, that's for sure. That's the 90 of Santiago. There's E-Step with some damage. Looks like there's some damage on the right side of that car with how the fenders flared up.
Yeah.
Matt Boone, a lot of damage on the front end of that car.
That's about half the field that we had left, I think, that is either eliminated or severely wounded.
Yeah, you see more of the damage on Santiago's car there.
Yeah, that thing is pretty destroyed.
Jumped.
None more so than the acrobatics in 3 and 4, tumbling over and over. I haven't seen one turn over quite that violently in a long time.
So here's what happened.
Yeah, it was that block down to the bottom and then just a little bit of a bad bump. I think the 37 checked up, and oh my goodness. That's a terrible impact.
You see how much actually happened just in front as they exited 4. That's Clem that was turned around. Matt Steven got clear of it, but Boone didn't. And you see all the cars are merging without front bumpers at that point.
And everybody behind, there's only so much you can do, especially because we had a car in the air. You saw that impact reflecting that car off of the safer barrier. Yeah, here it is. Off of the safer barrier and literally comes across the track and lands on the rest of the field. That is the scariest thing. Watch how this car hits the safer barrier. Watch how this safer barrier is going to shoot the car back into traffic. Bounce off here. This looks eerily familiar, but then... And look, nowhere to go for these guys. Some contact there between Steven and... Oh my goodness, there's where the 55 picked up a little damage.
Yeah, 55 of E-Step.
Yeah.
22 of Donaldson.
Oh, good avoidance there by the 21 car.
21. That was Alfred Denny. The 48 of Holly also avoided it.
It is so hard to pick that lane. You never know where that car is going to bounce next. It was really, really heads-up driving there. Notice this still flipping through. That looks so reminiscent to Scott Wimmer's crash in the 2004 Daytona 500, I believe. Or was it 2005? Really similar scenario there. And the way that car launched off the barrier car reminds me very much of Michael McDowell's crash in 2008 at Texas.
Yeah, we had 3 reminiscent viewpoints of that crash. Like, all kind of get seamed together. Honestly, with how these cars are built now, a lot more robust than the cars of yesteryear. But
for better or for worse, of course, there's been complaints all through the paddock about that. But as we come back to live pictures here, we're about to get ready to try and do it again, but this time without the crashing, or perhaps with more. Take your pick.
Right. As everyone gets themselves ready to go here.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this will be our first attempt at a green-white checkered.
It will be. Yep.
So, Henderson, that back bumper still intact, albeit barely. Gonna have to get the heroics out one more time and try to hold off the likes of Clave, Andon, Anderson, Steven, E-Step, etc. It's interesting that E-Step still, and Steven, they were both involved in that crash, are still riding around that top 5. They don't have too much damage. That's one of the things that these robust cars are a little good at. You don't get taken out quite so easily altogether unless you get hit in the tire, in which case maybe you're taken out a little more easily than you would on the old steel body. But nevertheless, it's crazy that we have this many cars out of the race, given how good of a race it's been. But when they wreck hard.
Yeah, it's been a wild race so far. As we get ready to approach, this would naturally be us coming to the white flag, but obviously overtime rules apply here. For those new to stock car racing, overtime finishes, we have 3 of them. It's an attempt to finish the race under green. You get a 1 green flag lap, then the white flag, and then if you get to the white flag, the next flag is the end of the race.
Do we get overtime pay for this?
We'll see. We'll see how many we have to use here. But it makes everything so much more intense, especially with how confident these drivers have been with these bumps. It's been confidence over thoughtfulness, it seems, on a couple of occasions. People just thinking, you can get out of it, but just minor miscalculations mean so much.
They do mean a lot, but that's what makes winning here so much more special. And I've been lucky enough to have won a Daytona 500, and I know that I had to hold off the field for 2 green-white checkers, and your blood is just pumping through your veins at this point. It doesn't matter whether it's a league or an official or what have you. If you're Clave right now, you are looking for every opportunity to get to the front. You know you have a car that can get there. You've been up front all day long. And if you're Henderson, you're ready to use that back bumper for all it's worth. We already saw that on that last restart. His objective is stay out front. Do not give up that lead. But I don't care how good of a driver you are, you're nervous right now. You're looking at winning at Daytona. You're about to win the biggest race of the season if you can hang on for what sounds like an easy 2 laps. You turn the wheel 8 times, come back home, you win. But it's never that easy.
I was going to say, it's never that easy. And something I'll point out here going into this green-white checkered restart, Henderson, Clavitt, Anderson, and Matt Steven, 5 of the top 6, have not won a race in HTL. You have to look at Nathan Estep and Gary Donaldson for those that have won a race at all in HTL so far. That is a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah, but also remember, if we look back to the duels not too long ago, none of the top 5 on the white flag were even around to take the checkers. So you could do everything right, be out front, come out of turn 4, and still finish 13th. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be a green-white checkered attempt, pace car off.
Yep. Ford Mustang pace car pulls in. It's a Mustang leading the field alongside a Camaro. Henderson takes us to green flag. Overtime underway here at Daytona. And already trouble.
Yeah, we got a car around in the back. I wonder if that's going to trigger. We stay green, it looks like, for now. And Clem coming back up on track. Still no yellow lights flashing. I think we're going to go ahead and let him race.
Yep.
Good formation on that bottom. Yeah, Clave really trying to get down there and get that side draft, but he needs help. Similar to what we saw at the duels, that outside line just trying to form, and that would be why you see no front end on that second car on the top lane, or the 4th. But that's E-Step pushing, though, so the 23 is going to try to connect up there.
Yeah, the 23 trying to do what he can do.
And Clave got clear.
Yeah, Clavett's clear. Henderson second, and now Anderson begins to fall backwards.
Yeah, if you're Henderson, you gotta push Clave around the same way that he pushed you around. You gotta get on his bumper and push him around, and that's what he's doing. One to go now.
1 lap to go here in Daytona. It's Clavitt, Henderson, and Steven Fuller, top 5. Do any of them make it back?
Oh, he's talented to make it out. Yeah, this is what he's got to do. He's got to push him out, make it man-on-man, and then make a move out of 4. You can't wait until after the exit of 4. You got to go earlier than that because you just can't quite get alongside unless you get a really big run. But what can Andon and Steven do in the back? And now we see a couple more. I think it's Parker's that just jumped out to the top, too.
Yeah, it was. Parker's.
I don't know that they're going to have time. Yeah,
watch out. Keep an eye on Andon.
Yeah, he's getting a good run here.
Ooh, really good run.
Henderson might try to block that. He does.
But Henderson didn't go with them. Clavett's coming to the checkered flag. Dean Clavett's going to win at Daytona.
Well done. Textbook move. Held off Henderson. Henderson, I think, made that move a little too late.
Yeah.
And Andon ends up with P2. Great run by Andon to get that P2. I think Henderson probably tried to move out to take that run. Couldn't quite do it. Maybe overshot. And Dean Clavitt, he's going to get it done. The Canadian in victory lane for the Daytona 225. How about that?
That was wild. Clavitt didn't get to see the finish last week in the duel. Saw the finish first for the 225. What a finish.
I'm thinking that makes it a little easier for the quali race to not finish that if you win the real thing. So, brilliant effort there. You can see the little wigglies. Very, very well done by him, and he's going to absolutely burn it down. It is the biggest race of the season. He did it in absolute textbook fashion, kind of by himself on the top, too. They were almost too wounded to make something happen up there, and we knew how strong Henderson had been all race, especially late in the game, and Dean just had another ace up his sleeve, and Henderson wasn't ready for it and couldn't respond in time. So I think that's...
friendly bumps there between Clavitt and E-Step.
Yeah, who was out there pushing that car that had no front end on the top, so partially helped as best as he could. So, wow, great effort there. We'll talk to them obviously in a minute, but I think for now we just got to let Dean enjoy this one.
Let him come down from it.
Yeah.
Biggest race win in HTL.
Yeah, right. First career win, right?
Yeah, absolutely. First career win.
How about your first career win coming at the biggest race of the whole season? Well done.